Are high school sweethearts off limits to your friends forever? Think about that for a minute. Wow. A woman wrote to Dear Prudence saying her best friend cut her off because she recently dated her ex from 40 years ago, okay? So it's a long time ago, but would you be upset if a friend dated someone, your first love from high school? Oh, look at all you.
Okay, I mean, my first reaction was the same. I was like, oh, this girl needs to get over it. But if you kind of put yourself, I mean, we don't know how long they were together, but I do remember my first big love, and I was together with him for 8 years. So like 16 to 24. Those are really important, big years. You kind of go through everything in those years together. And that is an imprint on your soul and your mind forever. Like, you never get over stuff that...
It's true scientifically, too, Mel. Like, it's not like there's actually a thing that says you get a memory bump during that time. So it's real.
But that time, you'll never have a time like your adolescence and teenage years again. I mean, we can all agree to that. So clearly, this had such an impact on her, and we don't know how long they were together. We don't know if she was best friends with this best friend back then, because like all those things do matter. Because I think if you had a big, big love and you had a best friend who was by your side for all of it, maybe they were together for years, and then all this time, I know 40 years sounds like a long time, but mentally, she's probably still 16 in some ways. And so for that, I would say, if this is a new friend and doesn't know your ex, then have at her. But I think if she did...
Called her best friend.
Yes, but we don't know how long. I mean, they could have been best friends from when they were teenagers.
But the closeness is clearly
It's clearly something. Yes. So in that case, I would understand. Otherwise, girl, go to therapy. Get over him. Get over him.
I feel like somebody just sounds single and bitter.
Oh.
I think that, like, there's nothing like your first time. You are right. There is something that's imprinted on you. There's nothing like your first, and we always remember the first time, even if it was bad. And I find that interesting. Like, my high school sweetheart is a woman, and I don't want anything to do with her now. I think
So you'd be fine with your best friend dating her?
So I'd be very fine with my bestie dating her. I think that a lot of us, if we are not in a relationship, I am in a relationship, when your mind wanders of like, what could have been? Oh, the one that got away, like my one that got away that before I met my current partner is this guy named Dan. I was in the closet. What a place that was. And I met him and I was like, fell deeply in love with him. He's Australian and hot, wow. And I remember that the last time we ever spoke, he just like fled the country, never came back. But years after, I know, isn't that crazy? But years after, I was like, wow, he's the one that got away, my first love. But I was like, is your first love truly gonna like leave you forever? Stranded in Canada with all these beautiful people. So I think that if you are not in a relationship, you just have a blurry view on what true love actually is until you actually, because
so her friend is like snatching her dream.
Yeah, so haters gonna hate, that's what I think.
Yeah. This happened to me.
What?
Yeah. Well, so you know how for many people, like you're just saying, like that first relationship, I dated someone from like 16 or 15 to 16, 17, seemed like an eternity at that time, and it was my first love. Then I went to university, and a couple of years later, so I was like probably 19, and one of my close friends had stayed back home, and she came to visit me one weekend, and she said, I've started dating. His name was Jason as well. Started dating Jason. And I have to say, like at the time, it did bother me. I was over him. I had been the one to break up with him. But it was the idea of imagining that if she and I were so close that suddenly if we go out to dinner or I have people over and then he's gonna show up back in my life, there was something really uncomfortable about that. And if I'm being perfectly honest, there still would be some exes that I would feel uncomfortable if they showed up in my life today. Most of them I'm still friends with. Maybe that's why. I've stayed friends with all my exes because it has allowed me to see them in their fullness and not have them locked in time in some kind of ideal. I've just figured this out on the show right now.
You need to give this girl therapy. You need to give this girl therapy.
Right, so then you don't see them as you were when you were in love with them.
They're frozen in time if you don't see them at all. They're still that 16-year-old love. Whereas if you keep in touch with them, you see all their warts and all, right? You see them as they get older.
Are you gonna pay the three of us for being a therapist today?
No. I'm gonna pay everyone here. All of you helped me figure that out. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. We've got lots more discussion and debates on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. Don't forget to click like and subscribe.